Well, good morning. I figured this is probably going to be the best time for me to go live while I'm trying to get out of town and say hi to everybody. I haven't changed the description. Description's default, so it's going to say Lilly and Jack, but I'll change it whenever I stop. I didn't have time to change the, go into the settings and whatnot. So I'm just driving and chatting, and I hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday morning. It's nice to see everybody. Good morning, good morning. I can't really change. I'm gonna have to change sunglasses if I'm gonna say hi to anybody. I gotta be able to see, and I can't see. These are the glasses. These are not the glasses. Hold on. I will find us some suitable glasses. These are not them. There they are. I can feel those. Let me change up here. Morning, everyone. There. Now I can see a little bit. These glasses are dirty and I don't have anything to clean them with. Hold on, yes I do. I have my shirt. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. This is the Bullhorn Betty channel, but we're traveling, so we're going to be kind of in and out of service. There's going to be some spotty issues as we make our way out of the state of Florida. But we're gassed up. We've got all the fluids in the car. I'm loaded up. I brought half the damn house because I always have to. I never know what I'm going to need. So I got to charge every single freaking battery I own. I got to, charge, make sure that the cameras have, oh, I forgot my Canon. I forgot my Canon batteries. I remember the new camera, the Lumix. I charged all the batteries for that, but I did forget to charge the batteries for the Canon. Dad, burn it. My Canon takes amazing stills, so those will have to be charged up tonight. But anyways, I'm kind of excited. It's been a while since we've seen Daniela's family. Many of you guys probably don't recall Daniela's story because it was just a kind of a small little story of a girl. She was like 18 or 19 years old, and she was at her boyfriend's house. She wasn't really supposed to be there, and she called her best friend to come pick her up. And so she was standing outside waiting for her best friend, and her best friend shows up and she's gone. Her best friend didn't know where she was, but she was there, drove around the house, stuck around the area for like 5 minutes trying to call her and everything.
Half a mile. Keep right to stay on US 41 North, South Tamiami Trail.
Mute that. And come to find out, she was hit in the middle of nowhere in pitch black, and they couldn't see her. Her friend drove right by her, and she was lying in a ditch. It was awful. The police out there have not been very kind to this family. There's a lot of racism out there, and not the kind of racism that you would think. It's not a black and white issue. It's kind of a Hispanic white issue out there. And some of the people had sued the sheriff and won in court with some of the racial slurs that the sheriff was saying. So this is well documented in court filings and records. I'm not saying anything that isn't what it appears to be in the court record. And there is court orders. So there is confirmation from a judge that this stuff went on. I don't like hearing about this kind of stuff, and I don't like hearing that a family had to pick up their loved one's teeth and hair off the side of the road because law enforcement wouldn't do their investigative job. And no matter how you look at it, law enforcement is supposed to be taking biological material off of our road in a situation like this. And to have the family hand the family evidence bags and tell them to, anyways, I'm not getting into that. The story is enough that it'll make you angry. And I'm not angry. I feel hurt for the family because this is America, and where, no matter how you look at it, where's the humanity in that? These are law enforcement people that we pay money to, and where's the dignity in that? I just, it angers me because we have so many great law enforcement people across this country, and even the ones that we talk about that we're critical of, right? They're great agents. They just make some mistakes in their investigation, and again, I try to explain to everybody that that's just they're human. They're going to make these mistakes. We can't beat them up every time they make a mistake, because think about it. We make mistakes on the daily. If we were to be beat up for our mistakes every single day, how would our mental state be? But it angers me because I feel like there's so many good men and women across this country that get this bad name and this stigma, and they're painted with this broad brush of being horrible people because there's some bad apples in the system. And you got thousands and thousands and thousands of great law enforcement officers, and you got maybe 20 or 30 scattered around the country that are just terrible officers. Those 20 or 30 officers scattered around the country, those thousands of great officers are being disrespected by those few, because it's those few that get in the spotlight, especially this day and age where we have media's war on law enforcement. And it's just, I don't know. Hey guys, the real me too, West Virginia holla girl, Alicia. Good morning, guys. We got Missy, Erna, good morning. Southern, it's nice to see you. Faye, good morning. Oh, Lady 7 Up, good morning. It's nice to see you, love. I don't know who else is here. I'm trying to get to you guys. I see that there are a few people in here. Kayla, good morning. We're just driving. We don't really have a whole lot going on. I didn't do a whole lot on Lilly and Jack yesterday. And there has been some things going on. I was listening to It's a Shaming Crime last night. And I feel bad for her. This lady, her name's Sunny. I don't know her. I've never met her. She seems like she's a great person that just, is trying to get, some information out. And I definitely don't fault any person that, she's bringing that Durwood guy up. And she's very appreciative that he came forward and everything. And of course, naturally, I would too. I'm just very skeptical. I'm always skeptical of motivation and stuff like that. And I don't want people beating her up because this guy came on. I don't know what his motivation is. I just don't trust him. I just think it's very odd that his statements completely are polar opposite to what law enforcement has been telling everybody out there. So it's awful. But she did some valid points because apparently, I don't know if people are on that Darren Durwood's Facebook page or what the case may be, but you guys know my stance on it. We have these platforms on YouTube for you guys to express yourself and come over here and provide your speculation and all this other stuff. Me personally, one of the reasons why I do this and I don't just do videos and I allow you guys to come over here and talk on the chat and stuff like that is because I think that you guys need the therapy of venting when you have an emotional case like some of the cases we have, right? I feel like people need an outlet to express themselves because I don't want them on family pages. I don't want them on, their private investigator pages. I don't want them being nasty to people because, to be honest with you, I don't think it's necessary, right? We have our voices. We raise our voices on these channels. We bring awareness. In the case of Lilly and Jack, on my TikTok, millions of people have been able to learn about the cases and learn about my opinions on those cases without me ever going to one person in that family's Facebook page or anything else like that to insult them. I don't need to go and insult them. I have the ability to speak on my own channel and advocate on my own channel, and we open that up for our audience to vent. And I hope you guys, it's very easy to go over and be nasty to people, but in all reality, what we talk about is theories. We have factual information, but if there was cold hard fact to say that Malehya did it, or did it or Daniel knows. If we had cold hard fact like that, they would be in jail. So clearly a lot of the stuff, yeah. Is it substantial? Yeah. Does it lean one way? Yeah. Does it look bad? Yeah. Is it definitive? No, it's not. And so every time people go over there, you could, in fact, think about how much our cases change from the beginning to the end. Think about it. At the very beginning of Sebastian Rogers' case, a good example, who did we originally think would be more likely to have unalived Sebastian? Let's face it, it was Christopher Proudfoot. We all thought Christopher Proudfoot would have been the one that would be ultimately responsible for doing whatever happened to Sebastian, right? Well, come to find out, it wasn't a lie. They weren't trying to distance Chris from the house. He truly was not at the house that weekend, leaving only Katie and Sebastian. So it's very clear that if anything happened to Sebastian, if harm came to Sebastian, the only person that could have possibly harmed Sebastian would have been Katie, not Chris. So there's a good example of why. I mean, granted, they're married, but what if it was maybe friends? Now you're accusing the wrong friend that has no earthly idea what happened because their friend did something. So you see what I'm saying? We can't go on and be nasty to people because we think something happened. I'm one of those people that live and breathe fact. Do we speculate? We absolutely speculate. But if there was enough fact, hard, cold fact to connect the dots, Malehya and Daniel would both be in jail. But they're not. So we have to remember that. And going to Darren, even though I don't necessarily believe him, okay, I don't. But at the end of the day, do I have anything that is 100% that outside of the abduction thing? You know, law enforcement has been adamant that there is no abduction, and what he's describing to me is an abduction. So this whole song and dance about her needing to leave, that's not true, because those two kids, and I've said this over and over again, were not attached to Daniel one bit. The only way that story would make sense would be if Meadow was the one that disappeared. Because Meadow is the only child that Daniel has the ability to fight her over. Not Lilly and Jack. If she wanted to get away from Daniel, she wouldn't have to sneak the kids out. And not only that, if she did sneak the kids out, when she got away from Daniel, she would have told law enforcement, I had to get away from him. He was beating me every day. The only way I could get away from him was getting the kids away, getting you guys involved. Much like that guy that was held in captivity by his stepmother until he was 11 years old. What did he do to leave? He set the fire. Well, as soon as he set the fire and he was saved by the fire department, he blabbed, I had to set the fire. This is the only way I could be saved. So she's been gone from, where are the kids? At this point, they don't need to hide the children anymore. She's taking something that is, at best, a non-chargeable offense or a low misdemeanor to now turning it into a felony. I'm sorry, people don't do that for custody. They do that if something really bad happened. So just common sense and problem-solving techniques would tell you that this is not something where these children were loaded up in a car and taken off and are safe. And even if that was the case, why would Darren Durwood make the comment of if they're still alive? Because who would take these children? It'd most likely be family, no? Like, right? If you're going to sneak your children out, who would you call? Most likely family or friends. So you're giving your child to family and friends. You think your family and friends are going to whack your children? What? The whole story behind it. I'm not trying to be mean to It's a Crime and Shame. I'm just saying that this story has a lot of holes in it that are being, explained on her show. And I hope at some point, instead of, being angry and saying everybody's these keyboard warriors, I would really hope that maybe some of the issues that everybody's having are explained if she wants people to believe the story. You know, a lot of people are very hesitant on the story that they're loaded up in the car, especially that would be evidence of an abduction. Okay? Loading kids up in a car is evidence of an abduction. Okay? They're proclaiming that there's no evidence of an abduction. The children are most likely dead, and the children are most likely in those woods in Nova Scotia. What is that telling you? They either wandered off or somebody placed them in those woods in Nova Scotia deceased. And since they're saying that there is no evidence to support that the children wandered off in those dense woods, I'd have to think that there is some foul play here. And I'm also hearing through the lines, and it's a little kind of interesting, but people are saying that this is now officially a criminal investigation. And I hope people don't start breaking news that, because to be honest with you, this has been a criminal investigation since May 3rd or May 4th. Okay? When they secretly brought in the RCMP Major Crimes and Forensics Unit. That was not public, and that was very under radar. Nobody knew that RCMP Major Crimes and Forensic investigators were on the scene. Why would they secretly sneak those people in to the case? They didn't tell them 4 days, and they even said that they basically secretly put them there. So why would they secretly put that type of investigator on the case so early on, unless they really didn't believe the parents? And that tells us some critical things. That one, law enforcement isn't stupid, okay? They obviously knew that the story wasn't jiving by May 3rd when they brought in the RCMP Major Crimes. So we're not dealing with idiots here, okay? They're doing everything that they need to do. But they're in, yet again, a rural area that doesn't have a lot of infrastructure there, you know, internet infrastructure. And therefore, people are able to move around undetected. And that's a bad situation when you're, or could be potentially hiding little people, you know, little kids. So, I don't know. The sun is in my eyes. You guys are like a big old black box. Make sure my phone's not getting too hot. It'll shut off on us if it gets too hot. That's why I thought this was a perfect time. I don't have to worry about too much. Hey guys, it's nice to see. Oh, there's I Am Team Summer. Hello, love. I hope you're doing well. I want to give you a big hug and a kiss. I saw you over at church, but I haven't seen you over here, so I thought I'd hey. Is that Pebbles? I see Pebbles. I see Pebbles, and I know we got Carol embroidery. I can't remember. True crime. I know something like it's something. Loves embroidery and true crime. There it is. There it is. There it is. I knew how to remember it. I saw the name in here. I just get it. Barely. The sun's like directly in my eyes, so I can't see squat. But this morning's been pretty good. I didn't know if I was going to get everything done. Guys, I worked my little tail off this week. I mean, I had a lot of yard work that needed to get done. I really wanted to get it all wrapped up and out to the road. And it's not wrapped up by any stretch of the imagination, because I'm still cleaning up from the hurricane, you know. And so I've been getting a lot of stuff out. The yard's starting to look really good. I feel like I'm getting my backyard back, and it's been really nice. Delilah loves the backyard. I will tell you that. She loves to play ball. She loves being in the backyard. It's so funny, because sometimes when I'm doing work in the front yard, you know, I just let her kind of meander, because she doesn't get too far away from me, you know. She stays around the house. And so I'm doing yard work while she always meanders in the back of the yard. She loves the backyard. And so I'll pop my head up, and I don't see her around me, and I know exactly where she's at. She's in the backyard playing. So she's over at Gamzee's house this morning. We dropped her off last night. You know, she was quite somewhat right, especially with me taking her stairs. So she stayed very clingy to me. And, but I ended up having to sneak out, and I got away from her, and I could tell she was a little depressed that I wasn't there, because like a couple hours later, my mom reaches out to me. She couldn't find Delilah, and she forgot she had the stairs to the bed, because Delilah usually doesn't get in and out of the bed by herself. And so now with the stairs, she can get in and out. Well, Mom ended up finding her curled up, kind of snuggled between all of her pillows she has on the bed. And she's just up there sleeping. And Mom's like, where the heck's Delilah? And she had to go hunt for her. And I said, yeah, Mom. I said, the stairs are a game changer. I said, now you got to look at the bed. I said, she'll go hide in the pillows. But she's so cute. My mom just loves her. It's hard not to. She's just lovable. She's so lovable. And she's such a gal pal. She just chills. She's a chill dog. You know, she just, because I work, and she wants to play, trust me. She's a playful dog. She's got a lot of play in her. But she knows that, you know, I have to work. So if I'm working, she's just curled up next to me sleeping, just so she can be next to me. And we don't really move, because I'm usually in the same position for hours, because I'm researching. So my mom gets that. I said, yeah, she's just a snuggler. I said, she's just a chill dog. She's my gal pal. So Mom loves it. Mom loves it. And she's always so curious. And the stuff that Delilah does is just so stinking cute. And even though she's a year old, she still has that adorable puppy face. So she's just cute. Anyways, I'm going to get off of her, because I'm going to start crying, because I miss my baby. And I brought, B. Betty fan bought me this, well, I shouldn't say bought Delilah this bone pillow. It's like, you know, about, I don't know, a foot, 18 inches, you know, long. It's like a bone. And anyways, that bone pillow is for Delilah, but I use it more than Delilah does. I keep it on the bed for her, and she plays with it a little bit. But I use that for my lump, because when I'm on the road and because I'm so used to Delilah being up next to my back at night or over my head. I mean, she has weird places she likes to snuggle, but she's always snuggling. And when I'm on the road and she's not with me, you know, that's kind of, I feel off. It's hard not to have a lump next to you. So I bring that little pillow, and that's my lump. So I can sleep a little easier and a little better on the road when she's not with me. But it's not like I sleep very easy when she is with me, because I'm one of those tossers and turners, and she's one of those snugglers. So when I'm on my side, she likes to snuggle right up to my back. So whenever I go to turn to lay back on my back, I've got to roll over, push her, and then roll and lay on my back. That's the way it is at night. And you wonder why I'm so tired all the time. It's my dog keeps me up, because I'm always pushing her away from me at night. I want her to snuggle. I want her to snuggle like at my leg and not at my back, you know. But it is what it is. We're working on it. She's actually been waking up and going and being a big girl. I think she's kind of wanting to get a little more independent from Mom, because I noticed that in the middle of the night, every now and again, she'll get up and go, and she'll be sleeping in her own bed, which is strange, but I welcome it. I absolutely welcome it. Betty does bring it when she travels. What do I bring? I don't know what I bring with her when I travel, but yeah, I bring everything. I don't know. But when I travel with her, I bring the whole freaking house. I bring her a whole toy chest. I got a little area. Like, if I can get a big enough area in the hotel, she'll have a playpen. I mean, a makeshift playpen. I got blankets, toys, and I bring a little like a rug or two. I mean, she feels like she's at home whenever we're on the road. I find it keeps her calm, and everything, as long as everything's the same for her, she doesn't have any accidents, you know. And that's a name of the game. Help me out a little bit here. Delilah pillow. Yeah, I got the Delilah pillow. It's my lump. It's my lump. I gotta have a Delilah lump. It's either the real thing or I have to have a makeshift thing. And so the pillow is my makeshift lump. don't really know, about Lilly and Jack. I keep hearing some stuff. It does make sense, like the whole thing of maybe the story, the telephone story. Maybe it truly is they saw Malehya walking up the road, the driveway that morning, or getting out of her car, or but either way, he has to know something wasn't right for the children to be missing, and knowing that she was out the night before, or was not in the bed, or just coming in when he was waking up. Those are weird circumstances. That, if two children are missing and your significant other is just walking back in the house and has no real reason or purpose to being out early in the morning, then the question is, why was she out early in the morning and now two kids are missing? At some point, Daniel would have to say, okay, this isn't right. Malehya must have, her behavior was really weird. We're not seeing any of that. We're not seeing him really pointing the finger at Malehya, but we're seeing Malehya kind of pointing the finger at him, actually very strongly, saying, we've seen some of the text messages between her and Belinda. I mean, she's basically throwing Daniel under the bus. And she's the one fleeing, though. I mean, maybe in the sense of law enforcement, they know where she's at, so she's not considered fleeing. But for the public, come on, guys. She disappeared on May 3rd, literally a day after her children disappeared. She went to her mother's house, and now she's not even at her mother's house. She's at someplace else. That to me is fleeing. That's who does that? Who does that? None of this makes sense with Malehya. None of it. And the excuses she's giving doesn't make sense. She's not following social media. She's not following social media, but yet she's changing all of her stuff in social media. Okay, that makes sense. So nothing is as it seems, and I feel like we're being lied to by both Daniel and Malehya, and I want to know why. And again, Durwood. If Durwood has something, bring it. But he's saying a lot of statements, making a lot of statements to the public as fact without one scintilla of receipts to support his fact. And so that's not fact. That's not how true crime works. We just don't, somebody knows. And the children are alive. The children are alive. Like, come on. The whole world has accepted that these children are deceased, and now this guy is saying that they were loaded up in a car and taken away. Come on. You think the RCMP wouldn't have all that information? You don't think that they have accounted for every single car that went down that road? They did, because they do have cameras. They just don't have cameras right there. They have cameras on the opposite ends of that property. And there's one road, so you can see exactly who's coming in and who's going out. So sorry, but this stuff just doesn't sound. So I've got to question it. And yeah, until it brings me some freaking receipts, no, I don't believe it. And if it upsets somebody, then it just upsets somebody. But I'm not here for, just any news. I'm here for the truth, and we have to be tough with this. We just can't have anybody willy-nilly interjecting themselves and saying tall tales with no accountability and nobody questioning them. And then when people start questioning them or not believing them being criticized by other content creators, shaming them. Well, then produce the flipping receipts. So, or you're just going to hurt a lot of feelings and people are going to start attacking back. That's what I've got to say about that. So people have a right to question Darren Durwood, or whatever the frick his name is. And quite frankly, he's saying everything opposite of what law enforcement's saying. So no, people are not going to believe him. And I do not believe that he should be getting death threats. I think that's ignorant. Nobody should be getting death threats. People should not even be reaching out to him. If they don't believe him, they don't believe him. Going to his page and calling him a POS or liar and stuff. What's the purpose of it? Just to be mean. And you got to look at some people do this because they got psychological issues. Some people do it because they have, the need to have attention, narcissistic type of, reasons. Other people, if he truly is family, might have other motivations behind why they're coming forward, but we need to get down to the brass tacks of what's the motivation for them coming forward. Because if it's just surely to stir up the pot or to cause misinformation and disinformation, well, we don't need that in the true crime community. We've got enough of that going on from our own trolls that just won't quit with the nonsense, right? That have to do this, that don't care how they hurt these families or these cases. They just want, because they're a crusader against the grifters of true crime. Well, how are you supposed to advocate? Well, you don't monetize. You don't control what the hell I do, and you don't put money behind it. And you know what? Like what I'm doing now costs real money. Do you think my gas tank gets filled up on kindness? No, it gets filled up with money. Okay? It costs money to put gas in this sucker. So I don't want to hear the bullshit. And I've been saying that for years. We advocate for cases. We bring people to the front row that costs money. You know, it's work. It's work. It's work that we love to do, but it's still work. But what's the motivation? And I feel like his motivation is to protect. If it's his family, it's to protect. If it's not his family and he lied about that, he already lied to us once. He lied about his name. That's red flag number one. Okay? Then when he got caught lying, now he wants us to believe that that's the only lie he gave us, that he's not lying about anything else. Well, I'm sorry. You lie once, I have to question everything that comes out of your mouth. That's why I can't stand a liar. It makes my job a lot difficult. Just say the truth. I'm a grown-ass woman. I don't have anybody to tell me what to do, okay? I really could give two F's, okay? I got no reason to lie. If I'm doing something, I'm doing it. I'm going to own it. If I can't own it, I shouldn't be doing it. That's the way I look at life. It's a very simple black and white approach. So, I don't understand why he lied about his name. Now we move on to where is his, he says, listen, I got information. What information? Where did the information come from? Who gave you the info? Like, see, you just can't, this is what I don't like about a lot of these true crimes that like to whack their finger at people, okay? We give interviews, but we ask questions. And we want to confirm, especially when somebody's coming and saying exactly opposite of the law enforcement body out there, and you're just taking their entire story and not challenging it one bit. Get the F out of here, okay? We're here for the truth. Again, truth versus clicks and views. Big difference. Big difference. I'm here for the truth. So that means that anybody comes here, if I step on their toes, I step on their toes lovingly because I'm trying to find the truth. I have very specific questions for both Daniel and Malehya. I have very specific questions for Darren, or Derek, whatever the flip his name is, Derwood. Very specific questions. But you know what? Every time it comes down to those questions being answered, or saying somebody that has connections with those people, say Sonny, to ask those questions, they never ask them. Why? Because it always makes me wonder, do they really want to know the truth? Just saying. Not being disrespectful, but again, I'm not the one shaming content creators and other people and calling them keyboard warriors. Now, I don't think that was directly related to me, but to shame anybody that has questions about the bullshit that just came out on her channel. No offense, but I'm sure she'd have no problem saying it if the shoe was on the other foot about me. Just, hold it in, because I don't think the intent was to step on people's toes. Yet she stepped on people's toes for having legitimate questions and concerns. That pisses me off. And there's no place for that. The questions and concerns that people are having are justified. And to shame them, okay. Well, we don't do that over here. I support people asking questions, especially when things come in and you don't know who these people are. What kind of background did she do on them? I tell you, when people come on my show, you know who they are, right? you know whether they're related to the person, whether the information has been corroborated, right? I dig in their life. If they want to come on my show and say they're so-and-so, we make them confirm who they are before they come on my show and say they're so-and-so. Does she do the same? Because I feel like if she did the same, we wouldn't have had somebody that came up there and lied about their name. Just my opinion. But getting off of that, we've learned a lot from Sunny's channel, period. And Sunny has brought a lot of great information to us into this channel. That's It's a Crime You Shame. She was able to make a great connection with Belinda as well as Daniel Martell's cousin. And those things, you know, that was great work. That was great research and stuff like that. I don't know why she didn't utilize that same tenacity and ethic for this Durwood guy is my only problem. So I know she has the ability to do great work. I just don't understand why she's going to bat for this Yahoo that isn't making sense. It's not something that I would go to bat for. I would just let things play out. You guys didn't see me go to bat for Yada, right? She was a nice person, but she's a little loosey-goosey, and so I don't, you know, I've had no problems with her. She's been always kind to me up until she wasn't, and so I finally saw what I guess her family, the reason why her family has distanced themselves from her for the first time. You know, I saw why, and it is what it is. I don't have any hard feelings to that lady. I just rather never speak to her or see her again, because I have to question her truthfulness because she lied about me. And so now I have to question everything that she said about Katie because she lied about me. If she's willing to lie about me, what else is she willing to lie about? So it is one of those things. Anyways, guys, we kind of been bouncing around the whole country. Oh, and Travis Decker. Wow. They're starting to believe he might be dead. What can I say? I'm glad I'm true to myself. You know, I'm glad I speak to you guys, just frankly, because I think being frank with you guys about a lot of stuff, about my feelings, and not just going with the flow of information, I think that really helps this case. You know, not this case, but our channel. Because here we are, everybody thinks they're on this manhunt. I truly believe now, I already see them trying to go ahead. It's depending on where he's found. But, they're now saying, oh, he must have died or lost his life while he was fleeing. No, I believe he intentionally got away from those girls. And I believe he went into a dark corner and unalived himself. And you guys know that. But they're finally, starting to, it's not anything to do, but they're like, now we're believing he might be deceased. And it's like, no. I just got different experiences. I've been all over this country covering true crime for so many years, and we've covered so many cases. And not only that, but all the other cases we've had to review just to tell the story of the cases we've covered, and the research in that. We've got a lot of true crime experience. We got a lot of law enforcement, experience. We've got a lot of different cases. We have the Brian Laundrie experience, and we will call it an experience. And it was a lot different, and I just see that same mentality in Travis Decker, and that's why I really believe he's deceased. And I don't believe it was because he was fleeing and he just got caught in the cold. Remember, he is well equipped to handle himself out in the rugged terrain. That was the one thing his family told us. That's the one thing law enforcement told us. So this idea that he couldn't handle it when he's been out there in that rugged terrain for months on end, I call BS. I think they're finally coming around to the fact that, he may not be on the run. And I kept saying, how do we know who that guy was running through the woods? And now we find out that there's somebody stashing supplies in the woods for Travis. How do we know that guy that was trying to stay away from people and off the radar wasn't the guy stashing supplies in the woods? You see where this is going? And that's exactly what I was worried about that was going to happen and take the search away from ground zero and move it 45 minutes away like they did in Brian Laundrie's case. And that appears to be kind of the same thing that happened, but now they're finally looking at the real possibility that he is not running, that he is deceased. And I think they should have been looking at this possibility on two fronts, both the deceased front as well as the on the run front. But the on the run front takes a lot of resources and probably didn't leave a whole lot left over for, to look into the real possibility of him being deceased. So that's just interesting. But I'm very thankful that we talk about those things, because everybody's been, gung-ho about this, and I'm like, wait a minute, guys, wait a minute, I really don't think, you got to look at a lot of things in Travis Decker's case. It's not just the unaliving. You've got to look at the history in him. The history is what is dictating who this man is, in his history. His history is not a person of this devious person, in my opinion. His history is one of mental illness and brokenness and military. And we hear the statistics of military personnel and the self-harm rate of our military personnel. So these are all the things that I'm looking at that are what help guide me with some of my assessments of these individuals. This is just a little bit different different of a case than one that we've dealt with in previously. And I think the only comparative of what we dealt with previously is really Brian Laundrie. And if we look at the Brian Laundrie case, it's showing that he's very close to ground zero. Very close to ground zero. So, we're on time. Alright guys, well, that's kind of it. We're on the road. I hope you guys come here. We're going to be watching. I'm going to be capturing a lot of information. So what is going on this weekend? I'm going to keep you guys updated on all the cases that we've got, but we're also going to be spending some time out this weekend protesting. So if you guys are near the Alamance, North Carolina area, and you would like to support the cause, or you would like to just come and say hi, please consider doing so. We'll be in the square at Alamance Town Square, protesting for Daniela Mendiola. Daniela Mendiola, like I said when we broke into this live, was hit by a car. She was left in a ditch for over 43 minutes to die. And in her position, I don't even want to think about it. But it was really, really horrible. And the guy stopped his car. You can see it. You can hear when the crash happened. We know exactly when the crash happened. We have, some tapes from the neighbors. You don't see it, but you can hear it on their security surveillance. He stopped. His records show he stopped. He looked, and then he drove home. And on my way to tell this story the first time when we were meeting Penn up there, I actually had a rental car. And excuse me. I was on a dark road and I hit a raccoon. Never hit an animal before. It was you guys know I love animals. I was very heartbroken over it. I tried to slow down as much as I could. They just ran across the road, right? And I got one. I could feel it go under the car. I tried to stop as much. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I killed it because of the force of the vehicle. But I feel like he was so low to the ground, maybe I just kind of skidded his back. I tried to tell myself whatever I needed to tell myself to allow me to live with it, right? So, but I think that experience happened because it was on the way to Daniela Mendiola's case. And it was weird because I didn't know what was scurrying in front of the car until it was almost at impact, right? But then I knew what I hit. I knew it was a raccoon. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it in my head. So he tried to say that he thought he hit a deer. He thought he hit a deer. That's kind of funny because the way I look at that crime scene, the way I look at what injuries were on his car, in all fairness, it looked like he had to look at her eyeball to eyeball before he slung her across the street. And he still drove off and left. And he got home and he saw her hair, her head of hair, sticking out of his window. And he goes back and gets his family, his parents, that are highly connected in that town politically. Family associated with judges, solicitors, all the decision makers of that town. That boy was related to. That's pretty stinking scary in a racist county. So they let him go. He mowed, literally, you could see him go all the way off the road. She was standing on the side of the road. She was not in the road. You could see his tires where they went off the road almost an entire lane. And he hit her. And when he slung the car back over on the road, it sent her directly across the road. And he left her there. I went home. And I'm sure he was going to lie about it, but when he realized the damage to his car was pretty stinking obvious, he got his parents to help him talk to law enforcement back at the site. Now, mind you, he didn't return back to the site for a half an hour. A half an hour later. What did he do? Go home and call an attorney first before he worried about saving Daniela's life? It is my belief this man was under the influence of some type of substances other than alcohol that night when he killed her. And so with the work that Olivia did with the family, raising their voices and everything else like that, they're finally able to see justice. They weren't going to charge Josh with a charge. And now he is pleading guilty in a plea deal. And on Monday, we're going to learn what he's pleading guilty to and what his sentence is going to be. So Daniela's father, wants to protest the entire weekend leading up to this hearing. And we're going to be standing with the family as they hear justice for Daniela. And I pray to God that this county gives Daniela justice. Because what happened to her was completely preventable. This man was recording himself multiple times through that county, driving in excess of over 100 miles an hour, and he did it regularly and recorded himself doing it. He was known to utilize substances and alcohol, but usually substances. He was a piece of crap child living with his parents. And he mowed this woman down and then tried to escape responsibility with the help of his family. So I'm hoping he gets what he's owed for what he did. But if I say that my expectation is very low in this county, it is very low in this county because he's white and the girl he hit was Hispanic, and they don't like Hispanic people in that community. And they treat them as such. Not everybody, and I'm going to tell you that there are beautiful people in that county. I'm not talking about the people that reside there. I'm talking about the culture and the politicians. When you have a sheriff telling his sheriffs to go round him up some Mexicans, I've got a big problem with that. Many of you guys stance on illegal immigration. And it's kind of funny that I have a lot of Hispanics in my family, yet I stand on that. Because the Hispanics in my family work very hard to come here legally. And for people to not have to work that hard and jump in line in front of them, that pisses me off. That pisses my family off. So I have a lot to say about it. But, you know, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know because I have this white skin. Yet I have a very, a very cultured family, you know. I come from a lot of different things like many of you, you know. I'm a Heinz 57 baby, and I love it. So it is something. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope my sound and everything came through, but I am getting into the more of the sticks area, so I know that I'm very thankful I got this long with you guys, but I don't want to push my luck where we're having to come back in and go out, come back in and go out, come back in, you know. So I'm just going to bid you adieu until you guys see the Eagle has landed. Hopefully I'll have some more information. You guys know I'm traveling, so do me a solid by, if you see any breaking news, please send it to me immediately. bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com, and that goes for you mods. Karen, if you can, if you see any breaking news in the chat or in the the rumor mill or anything like that, you can send that to me. Reach out to me because I'll stop and pull over to run breaking news. You know, the cases: Sebastian Rogers, Lilly and Jack Sullivan, and the Decker case. We're also finding out a new case in Pennsylvania that I'm looking into. Some people have already started running their first stories on it. I haven't done my initial assessment. It sounds like that the husband might be responsible. I'm looking at the situation and the Caitlin case, so we might be jumping into that. I may, depending on how everything goes here, since I'm going to be closer to Pennsylvania from North Carolina than I am from Florida. If it's breaking and you guys want me to go over there, I'm dogless. My mom can watch the dog. I was going to go over to Warren County to try to get some of the Brooke Houck trial in. But if we have a breaking case in PA and I need to switch gears and go over to PA and cover that case, let me know what you guys want me to do, because we're in a position where we can do whatever we want to do, okay? At least for the next week. I mean, outside of the days that we have to designate to Daniela, which is very important, we're finally seeing the fruits of everybody's labor, because this guy wasn't going to be charged. And to be in that courtroom and hearing him plead guilty to something, you guys don't understand how important that is. And a lot of people don't. And people ask you all the time, what do you do to help? We did this. And I'm going to keep doing that after every case that people want to sit there, because we're going to continue to shine and we're going to continue to show the work that we do. We do a lot of great work, okay? And we know that these hate channels don't like great work because it puts bad guys in jail. Many people that they're friends with, right? Because the good people on these hate channels are scum of the earth. They're felons themselves that have nothing to lose but trying to help other felons escape their own responsibilities. And we say no. So they may be nasty bullies, but we bring the truth and fact. And at the end of the day, the truth will prevail. This is going to be justice. This is going to be justice. And had these hate channels been involved in it, they would have been running interference for this boy that mowed this Hispanic girl down in cold blood for no other reason than he was high and he wanted some speed behind the wheels of his car and lost control. He murdered some kid. At the end of the day, his actions, while he had a lethal item he was under control of, a car. And once again, speed and sobriety were most likely the culprit of why this beautiful girl is dead. She was her father's world. He's got a lot of kids. He's got a lot of daughters. This was his baby. This was the daughter that was named after him. So, I don't know. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with me. We will be out this weekend. Please come over and support the channel. This is a great cause. It's only going to be for this weekend and Monday, and then we'll be figuring out where we're going to go. And like I said, if you guys want me to go over to Caitlin's, shoot, I forgot my damn bullhorn. I have to pick another bullhorn up. I forgot my bullhorn. My mom reminded me, don't forget the bullhorn. Don't forget the bullhorn. I said I won't forget the bullhorn, and I forgot the bullhorn. I remembered the signs though. We got the signs. See something, say something. No justice, no peace. So we got it. We got our signs. But I forgot the bullhorn. I'll pick up a bullhorn if needed. But if we need to go to PA, I'll raise the roof over in PA. If that guy thinks he's gonna hide inside his house, I'll get out there with some signs. I got signs, and everybody knows I got a phone and a microphone. So just saying, we got what we need. We got what we need to make criminals climb walls. I'm just saying, we got the kit. We got the kit. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Start thinking about where we want to go. Because I'm thinking about going over to Warren County to get some Crystal Rogers trial, because we can't see that on TV. I want to go in there and check it out, hear some of the information. Or we can go over to Pennsylvania to Caitlin's case and see what's going on over there and get a front row seat and see if we can go talk to the husband, see if he's willing to chit chat with us. I got questions for him. So maybe he'll be willing to talk to me. Who knows? So think about what you guys want to do. I'm on the road. We don't get this very often anymore. It used to be a common theme with the Bullhorn Betty channel, but now it's becoming, a treat to be on the road. So let me know where you guys want me to go. All right, guys. God bless. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. We will see you soon.